You ever look up at the night sky or just, look around at the world and get this feeling that what we see, what we call reality, is just the tip of the iceberg? That there's something much, much deeper going on? Well, let's dive into a wild idea that suggests the very fabric of existence is something totally unexpected.
We usually think of space-time as this big, empty box. It's just the stage, right? And all these stuff of the universe, stars, planets, you and me, we're just the actors moving around on it. But what if that whole idea is fundamentally backward?
What if space-time itself is the main event? A vibrant, incredibly complex fabric, and the threads it's woven from are pure sentience. Yeah, this is the Sentience-Field hypothesis, and if it's even close to right, it changes absolutely everything we think we know.
Okay, so to get our heads around this, we need to throw out the old empty box idea. Instead, let's imagine reality as a kind of cosmic loom, one that is constantly, actively weaving the universe into being.
The best way to picture this is with a simple carpet. Seriously, the flat surface you see and walk on? That's like the 4D space-time we all experience every day. But what gives a carpet its real substance? Its color, its texture, its depth? It's all the countless little loops of yarn that are hidden underneath, right? In this theory, those hidden loops are fibers of sentient potential. They are the fundamental qualities of experience, what this theory calls qualic states.
Now, a fabric this important can't just be a chaotic mess. For it to hold together and create a stable universe, it has to follow a very specific set of rules. Think of it like a cosmic instruction manual. These are the axioms of the weave.
And it all boils down to three core rules. First, and this is the big one, sentience comes first. It's the fundamental thread, and space-time is just the pattern it's woven into. Second, the universe doesn't have an infinite variety of threads to work with. There's a finite number of possible experiences. And third, this whole fabric is unbelievably dynamic. It's constantly having to maintain itself. And the scale of that maintenance, it's just mind-boggling. To keep its structure from falling apart, this cosmic fabric has to basically re-thread itself every 10 to the 24th power units. That's a 1 with 24 zeros after it. It suggests a universe that is actively re-knitting itself at a rate we can barely even comprehend. So how is all this organized? I mean, this isn't just a cool story. It's actually based on a real mathematical structure. It's called a fiber bundle. Now, that might sound super intimidating, but trust me, our carpet analogy is going to make it crystal clear.
Okay, there it is, the formal math notation. Don't worry, we are not about to do a deep dive into equations. We're just going to use our loom metaphor to understand what each little piece of this really represents.
All right, first up is B, the base space. This is the easy part. It's just the universe as we know it. The stage, the flat surface of the carpet. It's the reality we can see and measure. Simple enough.
But here's where it gets interesting. Attached to every single point in that base space is a fiber. Think of it as a hidden, internal dimension of pure potential, of pure experience. These are our loops of yarn. Every single point in the entire universe has this unbelievably rich internal world of possibilities.
And when you put the two together, the base space and all those countless fibers, you get E, the total space. This isn't just the surface, and it's not just the loops underneath. It's the entire carpet. It's the whole shebang. It's the complete picture of reality, both the seen and the unseen, all woven together.
So how do all these fibers talk to each other? Well, that's governed by something called the connection. It's the rulebook that says how you can move from one fiber to the next as you travel across space-time. And here is an absolutely incredible connection to physics. This exact mathematical idea is used to describe the fundamental forces of nature, like electromagnetism. The rules of the weave might just be the laws of the universe.
So let's get into the really profound implications here. If the universe is actually this weave of sentient fibers, then what does that make a rock or a planet? What does it mean for our own consciousness?
It's the first question you'd ask, right? If the foundation of reality is made of sentient threads, where do physical things like electrons and photons come from?
And the answer is just so elegant. A particle isn't a tiny little thing. It's a pattern. It's a specific twist, or a stable knot, or maybe a sustained vibration in those hidden sentient fibers. So get this. Matter doesn't exist in space-time. Matter is an expression of the deeper, richer, sentient structure that is space-time.
Okay,
But if this incredibly rich, multidimensional reality is right there, at every point in space, why don't we see it? Why are we stuck in our plain old 3D world?
And this brings us back to that symbol pi. It stands for projection. We can't see the fibers directly. We only ever experience their projection onto our spacetime. The best analogy is a shadow. Imagine you're holding a really complex spinning object, but you can only see its flat two-dimensional shadow on the wall. That's our reality. We are living in the shadow of a much deeper, more complex, sentient structure.
This model even has a way to explain something as personal as subjective experience, and it uses a real concept from physics called gauge symmetry. Think about it like this. You can change the color and texture of the yarn in the carpet's hidden loops, that's the sentient fiber, without changing the flat shape of the carpet itself, that's the physics. This could be why two people can watch the exact same event happen, but have completely different feelings and attach totally different meanings to it. The physics is the same for both, but the internal experience, the state of their fiber, is totally unique.
So, how does this whole thing actually get built? Well, the hypothesis lays it all out in a 6-step logical process. It's basically the cosmic algorithm for knitting an entire universe into existence from scratch.
Let's just walk through this cosmic knitting pattern real quick. Step 1. You start with a limited budget of possible experiences. Step 2. You partition that budget out into all the individual fibers. Step 3. You define the rules for connecting those fibers together. Step 4 is key. It's an optimization rule that basically determines the tension in the weave, making it efficient. Step 5. You project that whole complex structure down to create the shadow reality we actually see. And finally, Step 6. The whole process gets nested inside itself, creating bigger and bigger layers of complexity, from particles to people, all the way up to galaxies.
I think this one sentence just says it all, doesn't it? The reality that we touch and feel and see isn't the real deal. It's a projection. It's a shadow play, cast by a deeper, more vibrant, and fundamentally sentient dimension onto the screen of our perception. And that, of course, brings it all back to a final, pretty profound question. If you aren't just a body moving through an empty space, but you are a complex, resonant pattern, a totally unique knot in this cosmic loom of sentience, then what kind of pattern are you weaving with your life? What color and what texture are you adding to the fabric of reality?